my transitions glasses take forever in the cold. So I'll just be a Janis Joplin 70s rocker, 60s rocker. It's fine.
Do you have blueprints for the home of your dreams? Or maybe you have some land and you just want to build a house on it? Or you have dreams of moving to the country, buying some land and building a cabin? Well, for any of those things, you're going to need a custom home builder. And that's what today's video is about. So we're going to get into it right after this. My good friend Daniel Johnson invited me out to one of their build sites to talk about House to Homes, one of his new ventures with two of his friends, and kind of talk about the process of new construction homes with the custom option, because you don't really get that with a lot of production builders, which I've done content on previously. So kind of switching gears here and looking at a different side of new construction that some people maybe don't know about. If you're new here, my name is Ryan Hensey. I run the Top Hat Connections real estate team with Keller Williams, serving Tulsa and the surrounding areas. And if you're looking to make a move, whether now or in the future, I would love to help you make that smooth move to Oklahoma. Without further ado, let's go meet up with Daniel.
We're checking out Houses to Homes.
House to Home Custom Builders.
Yeah, so you guys are not really new to the area. You've been building homes for a long time, but the rebranding has sort of taken place.
Right. We have two good guys, Tim Yant and Richard Thim, good friends of mine that I've joined up with that have been building in this area for about 20 years, doing remodels, electrical companies, and building houses. And we're just trying to take the next step, going from 5 to 6 a year, and we want 30 to 40 in the next couple of years.
That's awesome. Well, so a lot of knowledge and know-how there. So they've been building homes for a long time. You mentioned something really cool though, and this is where you guys differ from a lot of other builders that you may be considering. So you guys can do basically anything. We were talking a little bit about it. So say you have a friend that knows how to do tile work, or they know how to do granite. You guys are okay with them coming in and doing that?
Yeah, as long as we can, protect ourselves and things like that and make sure it's a good job, we do allow for that to come in. So if you do the work yourself or know someone that does, we can work with that if we know on the front end. And I don't think you find that a whole lot. So the main thing is, the protection. You got to protect yourself to allow that kind of work, whether it's licensed or whatever. It can't be just somebody doing the electrical for the house and they're not licensed to do that. So there are definitely limits, but there is some openness to that we want to allow a buyer or a customer to save their own money if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're saying is, if I, you guys recommend these windows, but I find this other guy that sells windows and they're cheaper, you would allow me to then use those windows instead.
Absolutely. Yeah, we won't dictate where we get the windows from. We will recommend what we believe is best for you. But if you work for a window manufacturer and you can get them at cost, hey, help us out. We'll help you out.
That's awesome. Well, that's a huge difference between most, like your production builders in town. They're not able to have so much flexibility. Basically, what they have is what you get, and maybe some options within the options that they have, but you can't really go outside the box in those cases.
Sure.
So the house that we're in right now, we're in Inola today, and I'll put some footage over the top so you guys can see kind of what this looks like. So you were telling me this house is pretty big. So roughly what you think house this size would go for?
Yeah, so this one's about 3,000 to 3,500 square feet. And that's another thing with the flexibility. We found a space upstairs that we could actually add more square footage. We made an adjustment later and got an extra room out of this house to expand it. But, it all depends on, do you own the land outright? What are the utilities like? There's so many factors. What is the groundwork like to get it started? But it's probably around a $600,000 house if we were to build it as a spec, if you will. But I think the value that we bring into getting that cost down is having that conversation up front of letting you know, here's what we recommend that will save you long term. Maybe it's insulation. But if we need to cut costs, if we need to bring that down, we have that discussion. We may not like those windows that you get at cost, but we can put those in there to save some money.
That's awesome. So a lot of flexibility, and that kind of brings me to the next thing we talked about is a lot of times customers will come to me and they say, well, hey, I have this land, I need to build a house on it, and you guys can fulfill that need, which is pretty great.
Absolutely. So right now we're not in a position to have available move-in ready spec homes. But we want you to have either the land that you own outright or have it in mind. Maybe you're working with your agent to go find that land and do it all at once. We can work with that too. We work with building out the plans. We can draw it out for you, work through that. We can send it off to an architect if you need it more detailed. And of course, we have to have the price sheet, which is what the loan officers are going to need, or the bank.
Right.
If it's a cash transaction, we can work with that too. And so it's just constantly flexible to what makes sense for that customer.
I love it. So Daniel, what are the most common questions that you guys get from prospective people that want to build a home?
Yeah, right now, the most common requests we get are, do you build a barn dominium? And yes, we do. It's a hot topic right now. Loans are much easier for that. Financing is easier for that. And a lot more people are moving out with more rural jobs or remote jobs, And so those requests are coming in a lot. And yes, we do help with that as well. And then the other one is, how long is it going to take? It's our least favorite question as a builder to get asked,
Right.
because there are so many variables on what that takes. But we want the process to move along as quickly as possible because it saves everyone more money along the way. It depends on where you're at in the stage. If you don't have any plans and don't know what you're doing, we have to guide through that. It takes more time. If you don't have your financing in order, that takes more time. But if you come to us, you own the land, you have the plans, you just need it priced out really quick and get it going, I'd say we want it to take about 8 months. Can it take less? Yes. Can it take more? Yes. But that's probably where we want to be as far as expectations go.
There you go.
But we don't put timeline on any contract.
Everything is subject to weather too.
Right. Yeah, we just have evidence. So we come out to houses like this, and we start talking about how long is this taking? How quickly is it progressing? And we can show you that all around this area.
Awesome. Well, and you mentioned a few things I really like is how it doesn't really matter where they're at. You're going to meet them where their needs are. So if you have the plans, great. If not, you guys would help them get the plans. And same with the financing too. If they still need to get that in order, you're going to help them with how to get that all going for a new construction house.
For sure. One thing that we can talk about is kind of where we build. So I'm in Broken Arrow. Richard and Tim are out of Inola, but we build, I would say, probably within a 100-mile radius of this Tulsa metro area.
Okay.
We have projects kind of in the pipeline all the way out by 10 Killer Lake, up in Coweta Porter, up by Grand Lake, even on the east side of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have them all over. And so we can actually go to those places and get our subcontractors out to those locations most of the time. And that's another big cost savings. We don't have to go find work in those places. A lot of our guys will travel with us as well.
Back in the car here, I'm going to head over to one of their other construction sites so you can see a little bit more of what House to Homes has to offer and what they're capable of building.
So we're out here, you can see that gorgeous house behind us, and the drive up here is super pretty. And look at the car, yeah, the obnoxious top hat mobile. So I just thought it'd be cool. I'm glad you showed this to me. So a lot of variety in what you guys can do. So this house is significantly larger than the last one, probably 6,000 square feet average. So I think that's what people need to know, whether it's a small house where, you just want to build like a cabin or something on your land, or something as big as like a luxury home, you guys can work it out.
Yeah, I think that's important to know. Most of the time, if you go see somebody building a really large home, they're not also building 1,000 square feet, 1,500 square feet. And that's something that, as of right now, we're forming this, and that's exactly what we will do. Maybe we won't be forever down the road able to do that, but for the foreseeable future, we can build those under $300,000 homes, those under 1,500 square feet homes. And but we're also doing the same work on some kind of these dream homes, if you will.
For sure. Well, and something else that we kind of briefly mentioned earlier, but the relationship is really important. So you guys, you've been collectively in the business for a long time of new construction, and you got to source materials and all of that. You guys have those relationships that you're passing on those savings to the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard and Tim mostly have been in this area for so long doing their thing, going to vendors, suppliers, and a lot of times you can't save as much as the production builders who build 100 homes a year. But
Right.
through those relationships, we've seen that we can actually get those costs down to get a quality product, know who we're dealing with, and be able to save significant amount of money on each home that we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Well, so again, if you guys are interested in new construction, definitely check out House to Homes, because you guys have really a product for anybody,
That's what we're for.
Whatever they're looking to build or you're looking to build, they can probably help you with that.
Yeah, I would just ask if you have any project, whether it's building a home or remodeling, send us an email at info@h2h, house to home, h2hbuilders.com. And we'd love to help take a look at it, check it out, price it out, whatever you need us to do.
Another big thing is obviously everybody wants to know their builder has their back. And we kind of talked about it a little bit, but you guys are really big into integrity, which I think is a really powerful thing that you don't sometimes get in the building industry.
Yeah, one of the big reasons I made the move, I was working with production builders for the last few years, and I kind of quit cold turkey because I was fed up with it. And so I want to put myself in a position to where I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder of what's going to happen. What can I do? What can I do? What is someone I'm working with doing to affect my relationships that I build?
Yeah. There's a lot of red tape in those industries.
Yeah. So if I'm working with Ryan, I don't want someone else that I work with to make a decision that impacts my relationship with my friends, my relationships in the industry.
Right.
And so with the three that we have, Richard, Tim, and myself, we meet together almost every day of the week, probably 4 or 5 days at least, and work through what's going on, talk openly about it. We've known each other for a long time. We've worked with each other before. They've worked on my personal house before. They've helped my parents. And so that level of openness and trust that we have working with each other is what we pass on to that customer. And that's what we value the most. And what I would say, if there's one thing I could kind of implore for everyone to consider, is that trust that you have in the builder.
Right.
When you step away from your property, or when you have to take care of your work to pay for this property, what are they doing? Are they providing what they say? All those kind of things. I've heard crazy stories, we all have, where you run into this new custom builder, which we are kind of new forming this, and they ask you to do weird things on these contracts, or can you do this? We don't mess with that.
Yeah.
We are open with the loan officers because we're friends with them. We're open with realtors because we work with them. Mm-hmm. We take a cut on our fees to pay for the referral that we get from a realtor relationship. Mm-hmm. We do the things that I believe are right by realtors, loan officers, banks, customers.
Right.
And whatever we get out of it, we get out of it. We're not reaching for that extra bit, doing it our way.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, and to that point, you mentioned too, when people are building things, it's how they want it to be. You give your guidance and you mention how, you tell them if you don't think that looks good or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's their house and it's how they want it to look. And I think that's really cool because you don't really get that. Some builders just be like cold turkey. No, you can't build it like that. But you guys will let them do what they want.
Yeah, sometimes we have to eat it even if we mess that up, or if we put on this fireplace and that you can see kind of over our shoulder here, and we start putting a surround on it with a certain stone, and they're like, that's not what we had in mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we can change that, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to do that.
Right.
And then that customer gets to decide, that's what we want. It's better to do it now than 5 years from now. All right, let's bite it now and get that done. Maybe it's a paint color. Maybe it's the front doors. These look great in this house. You get something in there. We have that flexibility, but we're also going to tell you there is a cost to making those changes. Yeah.
But I think that's great though, because the flexibility is there, and putting the ball in their court to let them make the decision is a powerful thing versus just, this is what we're going to do. You just have to take it or leave it, you know? I think that's great.
One of the hard parts with that, I'll kind of add on there, is we focus on that trust, and we want that trust where it's like, you've got to let us do it. That's what I'm kind of the in-between. I'm like a mediator between a customer and the actual builders.
Right.
And that's what we want, is to be in a position to where you can trust us because we are going to stand by what we say. And so we want that relationship working through the whole project.
I love it. Well, of course, if you guys are interested in new construction and you think that House to Home
House to Home
might be the builder for you. I think you guys are pretty great. I mean, I've been around here, I've seen the job site and some of what you guys do. And so if you're looking for flexibility, you want them to build your plans your way, and you want it to be even on your own land that you already own, and kind of get out of that production builder and build something that's uniquely yours, these guys would be perfect for you. So let me know, I get you connected, and you'll be well on your way to the home of your dreams.
and check with Ryan to find the land
Absolutely, we can help you find
and
land
to
as
build the
well.
house.
For sure.
Thanks for coming out, Ryan.
Absolutely. Be sure and like and subscribe for more content, and comment below if you found this video helpful. And if you have any other building questions as well, be sure and comment those below too, because that could just be more content that we can make to help educate you guys on the new construction process.